I actually have a really big confession to make, and that is that I don't like hot Cheetos or Takis. I know I'm a Florida gal, and I do fit the stereotype of a hot Cheeto girl because I am, you know, not white. But for some reason, I took a bite of one flaming hot Cheeto and I spit it out, and I was like, never again. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Zhariya Smith and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. Today's candle is hibiscus blossom. Fun fact about this candle, if you gander at the front of it, you can see that there is wax, dry wax all on the outside, and that is because I burned this candle once and then proceeded to spill the entirety of the candle all over my legs and on my chair. And this chair actually still has the dried, not the dried wax, but like the wax cemented into the seat. It's still there. Also, you might notice I'm a little bit different today if you are a casual viewer of me, and that's because we are now entering Zhariya after hours. After hours meaning that my bedtime was 2 hours ago. I guess let's chat about this TikTok trend and move on with our lives. So, just as a preface, do you remember in like high school, if you were in high school in like 2016, 2017, or 2018 specifically, and you saw that one white girl who would consistently only have black friends or Latina friends, had a black boyfriend who was also a drug dealer, just because why not, consistently would talk in that classic little black scent with the big poof on her head with that bun, and consistently wearing like Adidas the Superstars, Adidas sweatpants, and just generally, if she were to be darker, you would perceive her as just being a ghetto person, and that is known as the token hot Cheeto girl. Now, for preference, if you have no idea what a hot Cheeto girl is and you are on the side of the world where you've never experienced a hot Cheeto girl, I honestly wish I was living in the life that you were living in, because as a Florida gal, 90% of the people that I saw in school were hot Cheeto girls, and not even in like a hot Cheeto girls that are actually like non-white. I'm talking about specifically the white hot Cheeto girls, which is just so fun. What's interesting about hot Cheeto girls is that, like, obviously hot Cheetos have existed for a while. I'm sure there were hot Cheeto girls in the 80s and 90s and like high school, so I don't think it's something that's so entirely new, but I think the concept of white people, or yeah, white people trying to become hot Cheeto girls, to sort of emulate and put on a costume of the perception of how a non-white person would act, is kind of a little bit wonky, don't you think? It's a little bit strange. And because of this recent TikTok trend, I feel like I will never truly know peace. Also, lastly, as introductions, I wanted to give a definition, the Urban Dictionary definition of what a hot Cheeto girl is, because they just know more than I ever will. I have to Urban Dictionary literally basic slang words, even though I am 20. I'm not with the kids anymore, so I have to look at Urban Dictionary. But the top definition for hot Cheeto girl is that one beep everyone has in their class, kind of ghetto, probably wears Thrasher sweatshirts and Vans, always ready to fight a bee, nicotine addiction, check, 20-year-old drug dealer boyfriend, check, hoop earrings, check, scary, check. That was in 2019 that definition came, but one specifically that I saw, yeah, this one I feel like is the most accurate, at least for my understanding of what a hot Cheeto girl is as a Floridian specifically. But the definition says your average crazy Latina, usually the most ghetto girl in everyone's class or thinks they're really ghetto. She's loud, annoying, usually wears hoops and Thrasher shirts, Vans, and always wants to fight. They love to smoke because they think it's cool. They try to become friends with popular girls, but the popular kids end up talking bad about them anyways. BTW, her laugh can make your ear bleed. Her breath is usually bad and she's not hygienic. And don't forget, her hands are always covered in Cheeto dust. Recently, there has been a trend, not of hot Cheeto girls, but almost the opposite. People on TikTok have been talking about how they are retired hot Cheeto girls. And I find that there's this interesting, weird intersection of people that are like, I'm a retired hot Cheeto girl, and kind of talking about their cringy black phase. And also the fact that the Kardashians are also kind of exiting their cringy black phase. I don't know. A lot to unpack with that one. I probably won't unpack that one at all. But I find it interesting that now being perceived as being extremely ghetto and ratchet, as the girlies will say, is no longer cool, no longer sought after. And I find that really, really interesting. But I was scrolling on my TikTok, minding my business, having a grand old time, and I saw a TikTok where someone said, POV, you're a retired hot Cheeto girl. And it was this girl, she looked basic, you know. And what's interesting about the hot Cheeto girl epidemic is that hot Cheeto girl used to be used as like a almost derogatory term towards Black and Hispanic women, specifically Latinas, but also Black women were also included into this lump because, you know, you gotta just make everybody that's not white suffer. I think it's interesting to be like, oh yeah, I follow trends and now I follow trends now. Like, it's not particularly something that the average person is going to have experience with. And I'm sure that whenever these people are going to be like 80 years old, if they make it that far, talking to their great grandchildren or grandchildren about their hot Cheeto girl phase, there's going to be a lot to look at. And I'm pretty sure whatever AP meme history student in 2054 is going to be studying things like this, and they're going to be like, and this led to blah, 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 you know, and writing some stupid 5 essay on whatever, you know. I just think about these things a little bit, I suppose. By the way, I saw this one TikTok that I feel like kind of encompasses my general thoughts, so I kind of want to show that one first, so you guys can kind of get the vibe where I'm going with this. And we're going to look at a couple of the retired hot Cheeto girls. And the crazy thing is that some of these girls are actually not retired, and they actually still are hot Cheeto girls, or still trying to emulate the Latina Black vibe, but we'll get into it.
Are you really a retired hot Cheeto girl, or are you just a basic white girl who decided that one day you were going to wake up and do a caricature of Black girls and Latinas? A caricature so poorly executed that one day you woke up and got bored of it and decided it's no longer cute to act ghetto or ratchet. And once you got bored, you went into your closet and pulled out your old Hollister and good old reliable Brandy Melville and went back to being the basic white girl you've always been? Oh, okay.
So this video is by the creator Real Life Gal, and I agree with that statement. I think that a lot of people, especially like, you know, being in Florida, seeing the girlies that were hot Cheeto girls now suddenly Christians and married with 2 kids, and it's just interesting. Like, you just go back to your roots. It's kind of like one of those just like phases that a person will go through, and I think it's kind of damaging in a way, because you're trying on a costume that is already based on a negative stereotype as it is. So it's just kind of a lot accumulated onto there. But for me, it's like the average white person is going to have the ability to just try on different things. They can kind of turn off and on that little slight non-white switch, you know. They can kind of turn it off and on easily, whereas a person like me cannot just not be Black for a day. And even I'm a very calm person. I'm very soft-spoken. I'm an INFJ. I'm a Virgo moon, Capricorn rising. I'm chill most of the time. And people will still perceive me as being loud and ghetto just by looking at me. So it's kind of interesting to see that a lot of these girls went out of their way to have that image and then got tired of it and then decided to move on, do whatever they wanted to do. And now there's suddenly this trend of showing off when you used to be a hot Cheeto girl. It's just kind of weird. But let's look at some TikToks. So first, I don't know, 1 second of this clip, I'm pausing it. I'm sorry, I'm going to be doing this a lot. But you can see that she has the huge eyelashes, which was made a trend by Black women. You can see her Black boyfriend in the background, which is just something interesting that I noticed in this first second. But let's continue on. I really don't know how to describe the audio, but we see She's just dressing like the 2016 trends. As you can see, she's kind of giving that vibe of, I wouldn't even say this is like a proper execution either, aside from like the two French braids. I wouldn't say this is a successful hot Cheeto girl at all. But let's go on to another one, I guess. Basically, this TikTok is a girl who's wearing a cute little, imagine a white dress, and just looking like a typical girly in front of a bar. Now, these pictures, what I find also interesting about this trend is you'll see a lot of these girls with all black people or only black people or a few Latinas. You rarely see them with like other white people, which I love interracial friendships, and I think it's better that way. Not like I'm forcing you to do it, but I think that having people with different backgrounds is a good vibe, generally a good thing to do, you know. It gives off kind of weird vibes if you're only around people of one race. That's just strange. But yeah, the tongue out really is what does it for me, because that is key for this. And like the funny thing is that I remember during this time I would be like, this is embarrassing. They're gonna look back in a couple years and be like, whatever. Though I will say, at this time in 2016, this is what I looked like. So clearly I was also embarrassed. I'm very embarrassed for how I looked for, I would say, the last time I was embarrassing, like, I think that my style since 2019 on, I'm not like embarrassed by, but everything before that doesn't exist to me. This one is not related, but I love it. It says POV retired hot Cheeto girl. No, you're a retired wannabe everyone but yourself girl. The hot Cheeto girls at my school were put together, always fitted, nails always done, hair always looked good, makeup always slayed. Y'all's cosplayers are cheap, which is correct. That was something I also wanted to talk about. So at my school, generally these hot Cheeto girls were always matching fits, hair was always done, nails were looking great, like straight up, like, and that was kind of the difference that you saw between like people that were non-white being hot Cheeto girls versus the white hot Cheeto girls. Because white hot Cheeto girls, and I know that this probably, some person in 50 years is going to watch this video and be like, I can't believe she said that, but I don't know how else to say it. But it's kind of interesting to see that like black non-white people have to put forth so much effort to look better than average, whereas the average white person is more likely to get relationships and things like that, you know. So like they don't have to try as hard as non-white people do, because they are literally the beauty standard, they're literally the baseline. So of course it's easier for them, and that's why they can flip-flop around and cosplay as various other hot Cheeto girls, because they just simply can, and they don't have to try as hard as everybody else does. And it's not their fault. Like, I'm not saying like it's your fault, I'm just saying like it's an observation that I've seen. Now that we've looked at a couple of girlies that claim to be retired hot Cheeto gals, whether or not I feel like they are one or not, and obviously I'm probably going to have more just random clips on the screen, I kind of also wanted to talk about the flip side of this trend. There are people that are talking about retired pick-me girls, retired Dolan twin stands, retired white girl. Even I've seen a couple. There have been some where people's like, I'm a retired ghetto white girl, which is kind of weird and feels weirdly racially charged, but we move on. But also we have a lot of black people and Latinas speaking out against this trend and talking about how wrong it was then and how it is still wrong now, and how it just feels kind of yucky. Because obviously a person can dress how they want, but it comes to a point to where it's kind of like, I had a video that I did on tanning, and people read the title and then started talking aggressively in the comments. But I said, like, if you can naturally tan, like you go out into the sun and you cook, not cook, but if you can go out into the sun and you can cook, tan, and look a certain color, that is one thing, and that's no issue. That's just how your body is made. There's no issues with that. But if you constantly seek out to get fake tans, spray tans, the little express tan with the gloves, I don't tan obviously, so I really don't know all of it is, but like there's this one tanning solution called like dark as possible, and like the thing is like literally black. That's a whole other thing. I made a video on it, but the point is like there's a line between trying a cute new style versus like this weird gray area of like subtle, not even racism, appropriation, but I wouldn't even say it's like Latina or Black culture to be like that either. I don't know. It's a weird gray area, like I've been saying, but a lot of Black creators have been talking about this trend, so I wanted to highlight a couple if I can find it. Yeah, this one says, I know the white girls under this sound are calling themselves retired hot Cheeto girls. Definitely used to say the N-word, which is 1,000% true. The amount of people that I have heard say like that have said the phrase like, oh well, I'm not racist, but I get called like a N-word lover, like say the N-word so flippantly and loosely. And that's actually one of the reasons why I lost a really good friend of mine, because of her flippant use of the N-word despite not being Black at all, which, you know, is fine. We move on. Y'all calling yourselves retired hot Cheeto girls, and then it's just AAVE, Jordans, and bad edges. Literally, yes. What's funny about this one though is that someone commented, or maybe it's just a TikTok trend and never that serious. Have you thought of that? So me being the sleuth that I am, I decided to go onto this girl's profile with her 11 followers. And of course, we have a video, only one. And this is not me bullying this person. I'm not for just bullying people for no reason, but I just wanted you to see the community. I don't know if YouTube's gonna let me show this part. You'll see. Right. So the comments are so mean. So mean. I think in general, you know, you probably should treat people with kindness and understanding and empathy. And I'm sure all of these people have probably had issues with identity. I mean, when you're a teenager and in middle school, you're trying to find yourself, even in your early 20s. I have no idea who I am. I'm kind of scared if I'm going to look back at these videos in like 5 years and be like, why are you saying that? You know, but we all go through phases, and I am not going to punish a person for deciding to put their hair in a high bun and sloppily do their edges and look a mess and show up to school like that. That is on you. You know, we all grow, we all learn, but also if you're white, you don't need to lay your edges. That's not a thing. Please stop. This is obviously a trend. TikTok has many trends. This is obviously not the worst TikTok trend to ever exist. If you've seen my videos, you know there are so many worse TikTok trends that are happening at any given moment. So this is obviously not the worst one. And obviously, I support women. I love women so much. However, sometimes I see things that women do and I get very angry and upset. On the surface level, especially looking back now, it does look as though a person is just trying to do a caricature, like the one of the TikTok said, a caricature of a Black or Latina person. And I think that's kind of messed up. It's kind of wrong, because you should not try to, you know, because the thing is that, like I've been saying forever, a person who is a non-POC, they have the opportunity to just turn that switch off. You know, Ariana Grande can wipe off her little tan. Danielle Bergoli can take out her box braids. The thing is that a lot of people, specifically Black people, but just, you know, non-white people, it's impossible for them to just decide to not be a person of color that day. They can't just wake up and be like, I'm going to be white today and suddenly get a job, you know? It's not how it works. You can try really hard, but at the end of the day, people see your skin color first. So if you happen to be a person who is a person of color, but you have a lighter skin tone, maybe for instance, they can't tell that you're a person of color. That's fine and dandy for you. But if you are a person who is not presenting as white, you can't pass as white, which I have a whole thing about white passing, but we're not going to get into that today. It's easy for you to just decide to not do that, you know? And it's important to look at things like that and see like how things that you do can affect other people, and whether or not you're having fun and doing a little thing and sticking your tongue out and being cringy as a teen. I get it. As long as you're not saying slurs and harming other people, you're really not doing much to me. And I don't care what you're doing as long as you're not harming others. But it's kind of a weird line because I'm like, is this content harmful? Because they are saying that they're retired. So it's not like they're actively being like, I'm a hot Cheeto girl. But I can go on YouTube and type in hot Cheeto girl. And I bet there's probably, I don't know, I'll have to look it up. But I bet there's makeup tutorials. I bet there's how to be a hot Cheeto girl. I bet there's just a slew of hot Cheeto girl content that's probably getting uploaded every single day. And it's a really just weird line, you know, kind of like a person can be like, my aesthetic is dark academia or cottagecore or hot Cheeto. I don't know. But I guess that's literally it. I feel like this is what happens. This is Zhariya After Dark. But I guess that's it. Let me know your thoughts on this. Please tell me your opinions. I'm genuinely curious about, especially if you are a Black or Latina person. I just want to know your thoughts on this, especially if you were in high school. During this time frame, what are your thoughts on hot Cheeto girls? What's the line for you where it feels like appropriation? I just want to know. I would love to know your opinions on that. And I guess I don't really have anything else. So, with all of that said, make sure to stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.